Okay, in last session, we have seen that the basics about Nexus. Nexus is an external artifact repository, which is open source, which is from Sonatype. Right? So we call it, earlier we used to call it as Sonatype Nexus, but in general now we call it as just Nexus. It is from Sonatype only, but still we call in short as Nexus. All right, the full name is Sonatype Nexus. Okay, so it is an external Artifactory repository. So similar like Nexus, there are so many other tools in the market. One of the famous other tool is like JFrog. So if you learn either JFrog or Nexus, you can use the other one easily. Um, Both are similar tools, right? Next, why we use Nexus? What is this external Artifactory? I said in last session, but let me repeat once again quickly. So we take it for backups. For example, I want to take a artifactory like var backup before deployment, right? So for every deployment, I'll take backup like this. So today I'm going to deploy 1.0 version of my application, my Tomcat. So I'll take a backup of 1.0 var file here. Next tomorrow 2.0. So I'll remove 1.0 var file and deploy 2.0, right? If you do if you do deployment, automatically our Jenkins will take care of that, removing the old var and placing this, right? Next, like this, we will deploy it. So like this, I have taken all 10 jars backups, like 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, like 10.0. So when we deploy 10.0, 10.0, right, there was an error in that. So when we asked the developers said, sir, we need a like 2 hours time to fix this issue. So there is a bug. So in the latest deployment, developers are saying like they need 2 hours to fix it and test it. So we cannot run the existing 10 dot version of application with the bug, or else we can't stop it, because industry recommends for zero downtime, means the application should not go down even for a single second. Now 2 hours, if I stop my application, then it is not a good way. Then the other option is to run it with the big bug. No, I don't want to do that. So what we can do is we have a backup. So we already having backup of all the VAS, right? 1 to 9, 10, everything is there here, right? So what I'll do is I'll remove the latest 10.0 version. I have a backup here, 9 version. I'll take it and deploy it here, run it. So run how long? Until my developers fix the bug of the latest version. So once they fix that bug with the latest version, I'll take the latest version and deploy it. Till the time, I'll continue my application with the 9 dot version. So if I don't want 9 version, I want to deploy with the 8 dot version. Okay, you can go, because we have all the backups. So Maven, sorry, Nexus can be used in many ways, but this is one of the way. So we can take for each and every deployment, before deploying to Tomcat or any other application server, we can take a backup in Nexus. We can take backup in Nexus. Okay. So how to take the backup and all, we'll see. But first now, let me show you how to install Nexus on Tomcat. In Windows, it is very simple. Download it. You'll get a zip file, extract it. So you'll get 2 folders, get into bin location and run one command. It will start it. But let me show it on Linux, what we use in real time. Okay. I have launched an EC2 instance. It is of T2 micro. And for Nexus, minimum of 2 GB RAM is required. Right? So resources required for Nexus. If you search somewhere, they might have mentioned. Not this one. Resource limits. Scalability is required. Somewhere, I think I have it in the document or somewhere. I'll show it later. Just if you search it, they'll mention somewhere in the site, so you can read it out. Like 2 GB RAM minimum they require, like that they'll mention. Now, it is, but this T2 micro type of instance will come with only 1 GB RAM. So I want to scale it up. So I want to create another instance. I want to create one more instance, terminate this and create one more instance with T2 medium, right? T2 medium will come with, for example, I'll show you T2 medium. If it is T2 micro, which is a free tier version, right? Which is a free tier eligibility, will come with 1 GB RAM, 1 GB RAM. If I take T2 medium, it will come with 4 GB RAM, okay? 4 GB RAM and 2 CPUs. So let me take this, right? So I don't want to create one more instance. What I'll do is I'll stop the existing instance. I'll stop this instance, right? I'll go to instance settings and change the instance type. So let it get stopped. When the instance is in running state, we can't change the state. So let it get stopped. Once we stop the instance, then we can change it. Remember that in AWS, this is actually AWS question, but let me tell now. If you want to increase the volume size, means if for your computer or laptop, if you want to increase the hard disk size, you can mount external hard disk, right? But here and also in AWS, if you want to increase the hard disk size, you can increase, means external volume you can attach. But if you want to increase the RAM, you cannot do like that. What you have to do, you have to change the instance type. You cannot increase the RAM size of EC2 instances. You have to change the instance type. So T2 micro, I stopped it. I'm going to actions, instance settings, change instance type. It is T2, right? T2 micro to T2 medium. I'll change T2 medium and apply. Apply, right? I'm going to start instant. Okay, that's it. I changed it from T2 micro to T2 medium, which is chargeable. T2 medium, it is not coming from in the free tier eligibility. So as it is not a free tier eligibility, you have to pay for this. Okay, how is the charging? Like that we'll discuss in AWS, how the charging, how the cost will be for this different types of instances. And remember, EC2 instances are region specific. If you have created one instance in this North Virginia region, if you go to some other region, you can't see the same instance. EC2 services are region specific. Okay, what is this and all in detail we'll see in AWS. But for now, remember EC2 is region specific. Whatever the instances or security, whatever you created in this region will not be available in the other region. Okay, let this get instance get started. Okay, instance got started. Let me connect to this. Okay. I'll go to my git bash here, wherever my file is there. It's not showed properly, but it is showed full command. I connected there. Okay, I connected here. Now I want to install Nexus here, right? I want to install and configure Nexus. So for that, what I'll do is, in general, we'll download the softwares into OPT directory. In general, we can download into any directory, but in general, we'll download into OPT directory. So let me go there and download the software. So for this Nexus, how to download is Nexus download. You can get into this Nexus Sonar type work repository. Okay, here only you can directly take. This is the old site. This is the old site. This is the new site they're showing. Right. If you go to this old site, here only you can take this Sonar type. Right. This is for Windows. This is for Windows. This is for Unix. You can take for Linux as well. Right. You can take this. Download the latest version. You can directly take from this. Or else if you go to this new site, you have to register and get it. But from old site, you can get it from here only. Okay. So you can take this link and download it. So I already have it. Right, latest init data, this one, right? So this downloads on a type of Nexus 3 latest. This is the one, right? So you can directly take it from here. I have given the download link, wget command, or else you can take this link and download. So the latest version it is going to download. So I'll download this sudo wget. Okay, if I type ls, I'll be able to see this one. But for the one thing I forgot to tell is the prerequisite for Sonar type is also Jenkins. So first let us install Jenkins as well quickly. So, sorry, not Jenkins, sorry, Java. Okay. So let me download Java 8 version. The prerequisite is Java for Sonar type Nexus. So let me quickly install Java and set the path. Sudo okay, after Java installation, let me take that path and set it. Okay, next let me go to user home. vi.bash underscore profile. Open this here. Java underscore home equal to this dollar Java underscore home. This we know these steps, right? Then done. Now Java hyphen version of the type showing version clear. Now, okay, let me go back to that. Java is done. I downloaded Maven here, right? So let me go to this directory. So untar it. Okay. So this also I have given command here. So untar. Okay. XVF. But there is no separate called as untar. Tar only we have to use with XVF option. Now I have extracted that. So once I extract this, I'll be able to see this two folders. So let me get into this Nexus, CD Nexus. Here, if it open, so I'll be able to see this so many folder. We know this bin, which has the libraries, etc, which has bin, which has the commands or binaries, etc, which has the configuration files. So let me get into bin. First, let me get into etc. So ls, there is one file. There are so many things right here. SSL something is there, but let me explain about this Nexus default.properties. See, Nexus is one of the tool which you can access through browser, means like web-based tool. It is like how you access Jenkins and Tomcat through URL, like that you can access Nexus as well. So when you want to access, when you can access it is with the web-based, means through browser, it needs a port number, right? So it needs a port number. So the default port number of Nexus is 8081. Nexus comes with a default port number called 8081. Right? If you don't want to use that 8081 port number, means if some other tool has already used that 8081 port number, now if you want some other port number, right, to use, then you have to go and change in this Nexus.default port. Here, the port number, the default port number, application.port is showing as 8081. So your Nexus will start with this port number. If you want to use some other port number, you can change it and restart your Nexus so that Nexus will start working with the new port number. Okay. So this is about that. Now I want to start my Nexus. So how to start Nexus is you have to get into bin folder. So like this, right? Under OPT, we have Nexus extracted folder. Inside that bin is there. Now we have this. So there is one file called as Nexus. You can use this file to start Nexus. You can use this file to start Nexus ./Nexus run. Like this, you can start your Nexus. But the problem is, every time I have to come here to start my Nexus. Every time I have to come here to stop my Nexus. Right? Whenever I want to stop and start my Nexus, I have to come to bin location. I don't want to do that. I want to configure Nexus as a service. Means how we did for Jenkins, like service Jenkins start, service Jenkins stop. Like that, as a service, I want to configure this Nexus. Yes, we can do this. We can do that. Nexus will give that support. But how to do that? How to do that? Okay. How to do that? So let me show you. So I've inside this OPT directory. As the name of this folder is bigger, like this version and all, let us rename it with a smaller name. Let us rename it with a smaller name. So I'm going to rename it. So remember, when we extract it, two folders will be created: Sona type work and this Nexus. So this name is little like complex with the numbers and all. So I'm going to rename it like this. So I'm going to rename this folder, right? So let me change the version here. It is the latest version, right? Okay. So I'm going to rename this 3.6 and all to just this bigger name. I'm just renaming it to Nexus 3. Now if I type ls, so that has been renamed. This has been renamed to Nexus 3. Okay, done. I have renamed the folder. Now I want to change the ownership. Means to access this permissions, if I type ls-l, who is the owner of this Nexus 3? I want to control this Nexus 3 with the root, not with root user. I want to use with EC2-user, because read, write, execute permissions are for the root user. We have downloaded and extract with sudo, so it is showing as root user. No, I don't want to use it as a EC2-user, or else I'll create a separate user for Sonar. So I'll create user add something like Sonar. I'll create one user, right? I'll create one user. Or else you want to use, in general, if you want to create a separate user for SonarQube to start, you want to create a separate set of username and password for to handle Sonar type, SonarQube, Nexus. The Sonar type and SonarQube similar, like I'm getting that name. So Nexus, if you want to create a separate user to handle this Nexus, you can create. But for now, I'm going to use EC2-user only. So change the ownership of this. Change the ownership of this. As you change the ownership, the owner will get and root owner will get the privileges on this. So first, I'm going to change using ch1 command. I'm going to change the ownership of both Nexus 3 and Sonar type work to EC2-user. Right now, if I type ls-l, you can see the ownership of this Nexus 3 has been changed to EC2-user. Here also Sonar type work also it has been changed. So the EC2-user is the owner who has read write execute permission. That user can do anything on this, right? And that too, you remember I changed recursively. Not only these folders, the subfolders and files, whatever is there in this folder, they also will get same privileges. Okay, means same ownership. Now let me get into bin. Right? If I type SL here, so this is the file we used to start Nexus, but I don't want to come into bin and start every time. So that is the reason I'm configuring all these changes. I want to configure my Nexus as a service. So what you have to do is you have to open this file. In this file, there will be one line. So let me cat it nexus.rc, right? So there is one file. All right. Okay, so this line, that is this line here actually. Okay, let me open it otherwise. Vi nexus. Okay, this is the line. Run as element. This is commented. So what I will do is I'll go in this file. I'll put this line. Put this line. So and enter. So run as user EC2-user means who this line indicates. Run as user means run as user EC2-user. If you have created a separate user instead of EC2-user, if you have created a separate user like Sonar user or something and made the ownership here, right? Made the ownership of these two files as the owner of these two files as that specific user, then you have to give that user here like Sonar EC2 run as user equal to Sonar like that. But I'm using EC2-user, so I'll give this EC2-user only. So what does this line indicates is this user is going to be the admin of your Nexus. This user is going to be admin of your Nexus, means all the start and stop operations of your Nexus can be done only with that user. So as you are using this EC2-user to stop and start, means you are mentioning here, hey, I want this EC2-user as an admin to my Nexus. Only this user can run my Nexus. So when using this user, if you try to run that Nexus, right? When you try to start or stop your Nexus, then that command will go and try to access these folders. At that time, if that EC2-user don't have permissions, it will throw error. So that is the reason we made the ownership here to that EC2-user. So now here I'm making that this file should have only one line. This will have only one line. So remember that they'll ask in the interviews also. Okay, they'll ask in the interviews also what is the file where like what are the steps you follow to create Nexus, right? You tell them in general we have to go and start and bin, but I configure it as a service. How to configure it as a service? Change the ownership of that Nexus and Sonar type work to one user and add that user in the nexus.rc file. Nexus.rc file and put the element run as user equal to that username here. So this user is going to be the admin to run your Nexus. So I made the change. So once you made the change of this file, that's done, you declare that. Then the declaration means who wants to be the admin, who wants to be the owner of this Nexus to handle, that I declared. But I want to configure this Nexus as a service. Means I want to run this as a service, like service Jenkins start, like that service Nexus start I want to do. So for that, what you have to do is the file is there, right? To start Nexus, we use this file, right? // nexus run. Like this we start, right? So this is the file we are going to use to start your Nexus, right? Cat Nexus. So if you see, there is a big script here. If you see here, there is a big script has written to start our Nexus. See if it is saying something, version number they are giving. So based on the option, whatever you give, run, right? So based on that, they'll execute, right? They'll start this Nexus. Okay. So they have given a big script here to start your Nexus. So now this is the file which we use to Nexus, to start Nexus or start Nexus, to control Nexus. This is the file we use. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a soft link for that file to which location? To this location. So for this source location, opt/nexus, let me do one more pwd. So this location, right? So we are going to create a soft link. ln is the link, hyphen s means soft link. So for this location, opt bin, nexus 3 bin, opt nexus 3 bin, in that, for in this location, for this file, we are going to create a soft link to the destination etc/init.d to this location with the same file name. So for this file, Nexus file, this is the file we are going to create soft link. So etc/init.d. Now let us get into that folder, init.d. Let's get into there. Okay, I'm going to get inside this. Now here we have this file, right? We have created a soft link, ls-l. If I type this, so this file, so right, this file has a soft link from this location. So see this L, it has a link. So this is a link file. So Nexus, just now we created this link, this file from this location. So this has a link from that here. So now what we are going to do is we are going to, as we created a soft link for this file, we are going to add into chconfig. There is one thing called as check config. So we are going to add this Nexus file. We are going to add this Nexus to that chconfig. Added. So now after adding, we have to make it on. Now we have to turn it on. chconfig Nexus on, done. So once you make this, once you create a soft link, right, the same thing, whatever is there in the Nexus will come here. Whatever you do update, it will come here. So now we went into this destination location. There we added that into check config, that Nexus file, whatever is there, right? This we added into means the check config, and we turned it on. Now, as I made these changes, now I can use my Nexus as a service. See, I am in somewhere my home directory. What I'm going to do is service Jenkins. I'm the owner, right? I don't even want to use sudo here. Service Jenkins status. Let me check status, spelling mistake.
Nexus, sir.
Oh, sorry. Jenkins, sorry. So service Nexus status. Okay. So it is saying Nexus is stopped. Now let me go and start it. Right. Now, instead of T2 medium instance, if you have used T2 micro, right? If you have used T2 micro, then Nexus will not tell anything. Just when you run that service Jenkins service Nexus start, it will say, it will tell Nexus starting Nexus, but immediately Nexus will get stopped. If you go and try to access that Nexus with the public IP and port number, you can't access. But here it will show there. Now again, if you see the status, right? If you see the status, now here it is showing, but if you have used T2 micro, after starting the Nexus, immediately Nexus will get into stopped state. But now as it is in running state, let me go and access the Nexus with the public IP address of this. Public IP address. Let me close all these things. Colon 8081. HTTP 8081. So the security group, I'm allowing all traffic. So I'm able to see my Nexus. This is the screen of your Nexus. This is how I'm accessing Nexus. This is the console of your Nexus. Fine. But this you are seeing as an anonymous user, means I haven't logged in it. I'm seeing this as an anonymous user. So now let's me try to sign in. By default, there won't be any default password for your Nexus. Like, let me show you. So this is anonymous user access. See, you are unable to see the gear icon here. You will see later, but for now you are not seeing. There is something called as welcome search browse. Only these options you are seeing. Read more, some documentation, repository formats, means you can create these type of formats. So npm repository, maven repository, helm, right? Yum. So like this, you can create n number of repositories here for, right? So different types of repositories it is showing. Okay, we'll see what are those later. But now let me try to log in. So what Nexus is doing is it is giving a default username as admin. Default username as admin. The password is like Jenkins, similar like Jenkins, we have it in some other secret file. So I'm going to cat it, cat that file. So location of that file, admin password. So it is there under OPT, Sona type work. When we extracted that, we got two folders, right? Nexus and Sona type work. Inside that, there is one folder Nexus. Inside that, admin password is there. So this is the password. You take this password. You take this password, paste it here. So username, default username is your admin user, password is located at. So username is admin, password is located at. I got it and signed in. So immediately after sign in, it is asking to reset the password. So I'm going to, the wizard help you to complete required setup works. Okay, next. It is asking to enter the, because this password is known to everyone, right? Whoever has access to this folder, they can, and that file, they can read this. But initial after logging in, it is asking to change the password. So I'm going to change the password, confirm the new password, done. So the initial password has been changed. And for anonymous users, do you want to give access? No, I don't want to give enable anonymous access. So anonymous means by default, those who don't have permissions, username and password to log in, but they'll be able to hit this URL, right? For them, what do we need to give access, right? No, I don't want to give them. Disable anonymous access. Now see here, done, finish. So I logged in here. I logged in as an admin user and I am able to see this gear icon. Now if I sign out, I'm an anonymous user. See, earlier anonymous user has access, but as an anonymous user now, I haven't logged in, right? I don't have anything here. So that disabled anonymous access is working. So now let me log in back again. Admin. This is my password I have given. So I'm able to log in into my Nexus. I'm able to log in into my Nexus. So they are asking something. If you want to impose something, okay, you ignore it. So this is how we configure Nexus as a service and then work with them. If I want to stop my Nexus, okay, service Jenkins, Nexus stop. Right, Nexus is shutting down. Now I want to access it. It will not work because Nexus is stopped. Now what I'll do, I'll create one more user. Let me quickly create one more user. Sudo add user from something called as Sonar. One specific Sonar, not you'll get confused. Something like Ravi. ESSWD Ravi. Okay, I have set. Now let me switch as Ravi user. Now if I try to start service Jenkins, it's or not Jenkins, I'm getting Jenkins only. Nexus. What it is saying?
They're asking for password.
Okay, I'll give that. Now see, I gave password. It is saying authentication failed, something it is saying. Nexus start. Let me give the correct password. It is showing this. So let me add Ravi to user mod. I'll add Ravi to that group. What is that group? Wheel group. So let me give him Wheel Ravi. Okay, I'm adding him to a group called as Wheel group to give him sudo privileges. So I gave Ravi sudo privileges. So now let me get into Ravi. I switched. Right, I'm under user home directory. Now service Nexus start I'm giving. See, it's failed. If I go sudo and type this also. It is asking for password sudo privileges. See, it is saying Nexus, starting Nexus. There were 3 failed login attempts. Okay, this is fine. So starting Nexus. Now so it is running because even though we declared this as admin, we are using sudo privileges here. So as it has sudo privileges, as we are using sudo privileges, this way also you can start your Nexus, even though you declared their user EC-user as the ownership, but using sudo privileges you can go, but not with the normal access. Understood, guys? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, with sudo privileges you can do anything. Now I'll go here and try to access this. Yes, I'll sign in quickly. The meeting will end. We join back. Okay, I'm able to log in, right? Okay, you come back. Now I'll explain about repositories. Okay, this is the Jenkins dashboard. Now, as you're logged in, you have permissions. You have this gear icon.